Based on the 2024 GIS of the NGCP, the chairman of the same is a certain Guang Chao, a Chinese national.
Question that actually needs answers is who controls NGCP?
The chairman of our board is Mr. Su Guancho.
Okay, Chinese.
Hello mga Kapinas TV, bakit nga ba hinayaan na Chinese ang chairman ng NGCP? Nakakabahala nga naman, bakit dayuhan at Chino pa ang may hawak sa isang sensitibong public utility? Hindi basta mawawala ang pagdududa at banta sa ating seguridad dahil dito. Ano ang masasabi mo dito?
What is this operational computer in Nanjing?
I'm not aware of that, ma'am.
Operational computer in Nanjing.
Tinakot ng isang terrorist group, no? Tinutukan, tinakot. Sinabi niyang patayin mo yung switch na yan, turn it off. Can they do that?
Hypothetical po, kung halimbawang nasakop nga, nandun siya sa control center, that's possible.
Considering the information, Mr. Chair, that this representation have relayed already, the chairman is a Chinese national. Other executives, Zhang Yuwang and Xin Juwan, are both Chinese nationals. And then we have this working group of NGCP, Ming Jun, Cheng Wei, and a certain Wen Bo. See, there are two important constitutional provisions which must be raised pertaining to public utilities. That includes the NGCP. One is the ownership, that the same must be 60% Filipino-owned and 40% may be allowed to be foreign-owned. May I ask the NGCP, did you comply with this constitutional provision?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And the second important constitutional provision, Mr. Chair, is that the executive and managerial officers should be Filipino citizens. NGCP, did you comply with this constitutional provision? Yes or no? Are you saying that you complied with the constitutional provision that the executive and managing officers should be Filipino citizens only, considering that your chairman is a Chinese citizen?
Yes, Your Honor. Our executive and managers are all Filipino.
How many switchboard or control system do you have?
One for each region, ma'am.
One for each region.
We have 3 control
What
centers.
controls the switch or the control system per region? Meron ka pa bang main control that controls all the switch and the control system of all these regions? I believe yes.
Yes, ma'am. We have the control center for each region, and then we have substations for the equipment level control. For the system level control, we use the control centers using our SCADA system.
Where is the system control?
From the control center, ma'am.
Where is the control center?
For Luzon, we have here in Diliman, for Visayas in Banilad, and in Mindanao in Cagayan de Oro.
These control systems which you mentioned, they have the capacity to cause the blackout of electricity. Am I correct?
Not to cause the blackout, but to control our transmission assets. And
If I want to
substations.
turn off the electricity, I just need to switch off the control system. Am I correct?
One by one per equipment. You
One
can do
by
that.
one.
Yes, ma'am. We can control it remotely.
So, kanina you mentioned about the main control. How many main controls do you have?
We have a control center monitoring and controlling different equipment of the grid.
How many main controls do you have?
So we have a system, pag-control po, ma'am, not necessarily, as I get from your question, isang button, wala po siyang ganon. So kasi different parts po ng grid, different assets, different control. So if you want to operate a certain circuit breaker, kailangan mong operate that specific breaker.
But at
a specific
least
feeder, yeah.
if I turn off one of those, did you say assets
Yeah.
of that control system, then the electricity will not work anymore. if I turn off one of the several assets of the main control system, electricity will not work anymore.
If you intentionally isolate a specific area, that specific area will not have electricity, will not have supply of power for that specific area associated to that equipment.
To simplify, Mr. Chair, that main control that you are talking about is responsible to make the electricity available or otherwise.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you said that you have main control in Luzon, in Visayas, and Mindanao. My next question is,
Sinabi po nyo kanina, 10 yung control points. Tama po ba yung pagkarinig ko? For the entire country, 10 yung control points. Tama po ba yung pagkarinig ko?
Sir, hindi 10 as in 10?
Yes.
Hindi
10.
po. Hindi po. We have three control centers, one for each region.
One for
One for Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
And walang central control point to control the 3 control points.
Meron po kaming convergence point, yung central grid operations, pero it's just monitoring the interchange points.
Yeah, but
Wala po. For each region, you're correct, sir.
so if you decide to cut off the power for the entire country, wala po yun.
Wala po.
Wala po. So it's for the 3 control points.
Yes,
Kung
sir.
gusto nyong patayin ang power sa Visayas, po pwede.
Yes, sir. Using the control center, one
Yes.
by one, you turn off the circuit breakers.
So,
you isolate
walang
the plants.
central control point to control yung 3 control points.
Yes, sir. If you're referring to central control point as a single control, single button, wala pong ganun.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The grid. May mga responsibility po yung system operator as outlined dyan sa
Hindi.
Philippine Grid Code, and then meron kaming mga internal procedures.
Okay, ganito na lang, para doon sa mga nanonood, no? Halimbawa, kaya nga binigyan kita example Sabi mo yung duty, ano yun? Ang sabi mo? What did you say? The
Yung
duty?
system operator on duty, meron po
Okay,
kaming
system
dispatcher
operator
na tinatawag.
on duty. Siya ang may kapangyarihan para i-switch on or i-switch off yung power supply, correct?
Yes, opo.
Okay. Dahil siya on duty, tinakot ng isang terrorist group, no? Tinutukan, tinakot. Sinabi niyang patayin mo yung switch na yan, turn it off. Can they do that?
Hypothetical po, kung halimbawang nasakop nga, nandun siya sa control center, that's possible. Kasi ma-operate niya manually.
Ano nga yung procedure pag turn off?
Meron po tayong...
Who decides? Is that the decision of the duty, duty system manager o ganyan?
Yes, sir,
Decision
opo.
lang niya yun?
It's a decision based on established procedures po. May guidelines po tayo.
May established procedure pala Ano nga yung procedure? Ano yung procedure?
Kung halimbawa po, merong maintenance, pwede niyang patayin yon. May emergency, may risk sa life, sa equipment, pwede niya pong patayin.
I raised a hypothetical scenario na terrorist group came into that place. Tinakot yung operator. Sabi, patayin mo yung kaya niyang gawin yon.
Kaya niya po.
So, yun ang tinatanong namin.
Yeah, if it's possible,
so, ibig
he can do
sabihin, the power to switch it on or switch it off ay nasa isang tao lang doon sa duty manager.
Not necessarily isang tao, isang team. Usually po, 3 tao yung naka-duty.
Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Ibig sabihin, nasa kamay lang nila ang desisyon. So, walang security feature. Wala man lamang safety measure or security measure to prevent that hypothetical scenario from happening. Is that correct?
Sir, yung details po, pwede naman namin i-discuss kasi kung sabi nyo nga, security yung involved. Pero public po kasi baka po hindi namin basta-basta ma-disclose yung process nung...
Sige, let's not go into the details. Yun lang gusto namin malaman. Kung may nasa kamay lang ng isa, dalawa, 3 tao pala, pwede nang i-switch yun
Yes, sir.
Alam mo, very critical yung issue that we are discussing here because one, bukod dun sa issue that Congressman Dan Fernandez raised and the chair raised, the question that actually needs answers is who controls NGCP? Is it the Filipino or the Chinese? Based on documents, sinasabi na Chinese kasi sila yung kaya nga we're digging deeper. That's why we're asking questions. Now you're telling us na yung meron palang power to switch it on or off is only in the hands of one or a few. Therefore, masyadong vulnerable yung sistemang yan.
So how was it possible that the chairman of NGCP was able to be elected as chairman when their shares only represent not even half or minority of the company? Oftentimes, the majority shareholders would be able to elect their chairman. How is it here in NGCP a minority share was able to hold chairmanship of the company?
The particulars, Mr. Chair, I have no information. But as a whole, the board of directors can indeed elect who they want to be the chairman of the corporation.
Understood.
Conceptually,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Understood. The board of directors would elect. Now, isn't it quite ironic that a minimum share, a minority shareholder will hold the highest position in the company?
Mr. Chair, insofar as the composition of the board of directors, the chairman, Mr. Chair, from what I understand, nagpe-preside lang po siya. So, not much
But no.
functions.
But regardless, di ba? That's the chairman. 60% Filipino-owned yan. Mas gugustuhin ko na yung chairman ko Pilipino. Bakit ko ibibigay sa dayuhan yan? 40% lang yung kanilang hawak. Can I also ask, Mr. Chair, if indeed Attorney Mallari's testimony is correct, can I also subpoena, not naman subpoena, but request, Mr. Chair, the minutes of the elections of how the board conducted themselves, Mr. Chair? So moved. Mr. Chairman. No, Mr. Chairman, yeah.
Second, Mr. Chair.
To ask for the minutes.
I'm sorry. So are you addressing that to Attorney Mallari?
Yes.
Okay. So Attorney Mallari, there's a motion duly seconded. The chair in objection. Please submit the minutes as requested by this committee.
Kasi nakakapagtaka lang po, Mr. Chair, na minority share ka kaso lang ikaw may hawak ng pinakamataas na posisyon. Totoo na hinalal ka doon, actually yun ang mas nakakapagtaka. Bakit ipagkakatiwala yon sa isang dayuhan at hindi sa Pilipino?
Nagustuhan mo ba ang video? Huwag kalimutang mag-like, mag-subscribe at mag-share ng video. Hanggang sa muli.